See, told you. All right, so welcome to the first fall critique meeting. So there's not much as far, well, I guess there is some housekeeping. The next meeting is October 12th. We have Don Chick coming in to talk about the basics of light, essentially, and portrait lighting. I just posted that event to the members only group. I know I put it on the members group, like just the regular group. So yeah, there's some information there about what he'll be talking about. I can tell you that I personally paid Don Chick myself to come teach me how to do light. That's how good he is.
Yep.
I gave him a lot of money to teach me in my studio how to do it. So to have him coming, just even if it's just going to be for a couple of hours, there's no way you don't learn something from Don. Because it won't just be about portrait light. So if you think that that's the case, and maybe that's why you wouldn't come, you're wrong, because he's going to really just talk about how to see light and how to read it, and how like hard light and soft light and how these things play off each other and how you can identify them and how to use them. And then he'll translate that into portraiture after he talks about light on the whole. So I think it'll be a really good presentation for you guys to see. And then the next challenge meeting is a month or 2 weeks after that. So it'd be October 24th. No, 12th, 26th, October 26th. And that challenge is storytelling. So try and tell a story with a single image. What that story is up to you. And I've been doing a lot of research myself on the topic. So as I come across things that I think are interesting, I'm going to be posting them to the group. That way, if I find anything like good YouTube videos or articles or whatever, I'm going to post them out there. So keep an eye on that. And if you have questions about the topic, feel free to reach out to anybody in leadership. We're happy to talk about it. It's also the topic for the winter meeting or the winter show is storytelling. So this is sort of where we had Charles Cormier last month at the meeting talking about like how he uses storytelling and how he tells stories with photographs at the Haunted Overload. That's your next challenge, and we're sort of building up to that show in December. So if you have any questions about that, definitely reach out to anybody in leadership. Happy to work with you and explain what it is or if you need help with that. The November meeting right now is a little bit up in the air because Corey Kane has canceled on us. He just has some things going on, and life is what it is sometimes. So we have a couple of irons, a couple of feelers out there trying to get it filled up. But we'll have either we'll have a topic and a presentation that someone in the club is doing for that meeting, or we'll have someone coming in from outside. We have, like I said, we have a couple of feelers out trying to figure that out. And I know that there's some talk about trying to get out for like a photo walk, maybe in sometime in October. So we'll keep you posted on that. Trying to figure out some details on that. It probably would be like a Saturday. And probably in Portsmouth, just because Portsmouth is nice and easy, and we'll just walk in a different direction this time, and we'll have 6 hours of photos to take. So all right, so that's pretty much what I have for housekeeping. Monique or anybody else in leadership have anything else?
Oh, I'm just curious if anybody was interested in that motocross ATV event in Epping.
Oh, Lisa posted that to the members only group, I think.
Yep. No interest?
I don't even think I saw it. Sorry, I missed that one.
Well, I'm gonna put it up on the ticker up top.
Yep.
The header, so therefore it doesn't get lost. It
Okay.
is a ATV side-by-side race at a practice track in Epping.
It's right next door to the dragway. If you've
Right,
been down
New
there.
England Dragway. It's a New England event. It is their final race of the season. They have practice on Saturday and all-day racing on Sunday. And I believe it's all ages that are racing, because they also have a kids track, which is separate from the adult track. But it's pretty neat. It's New England ATV. I'll move it up to the top of the page on the members page. It's $20 for the weekend. Saturday is practice all day, and then Sunday is the actual racing, and it starts at 9 o'clock in the morning. It's just a great opportunity for panning, for action photography, for street photography, because the pits are going to be there, all the riders are going to be there. So it's just kind of a different fun thing to do. And if it's a nice day,
Yeah, it's a good opportunity to explore storytelling as well. It's a great opportunity to get out there and try and come up with that one image that sort of captures the event.
Yeah, there is a track, there is a photographer that goes with the New England ATV group. I do have an email out to him just to let him know that there could possibly be a bunch of photographers there and to see if there.
Right, but if we're paying admission, I wouldn't worry about that.
No, well, I did just put it out to him anyway.
Yeah, I mean, we're not asking for credentials or to be,
Right.
Any access, special access, so. I
Yeah,
wouldn't
well,
worry.
that's what I said to him. I said it's just basically for our enjoyment and our learning.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'll put it up to the top of the Facebook page so you can see it, but as I get information, I'll put it out there. I've been in contact with the club itself, getting information to the ATV club.
Let's see if I can.
That's it. That's all I have.
That's
Okay.
at Star Raceway, right?
No, it's not. It's so New England Dragway, and then right next to New England Dragway, there is an ATV. It's called MX 101, and it's an ATV practice track. It's a
Gotcha.
dirt track. I believe it is owned by New England Dragway, but it has nothing to do with Star. It's right next to
Okay.
it.
Yeah, it's actually at New England Dragway, but it's off to the side a bit. It's almost like it's next door.
Yep, the name of it's MX 101, and that's part of the post that I'll put on the Facebook page.
And I just looked at it. It's just in case anybody wants to write it down. The date is October 8th
Yep.
and
8th.
October 9th. So it's
Right,
a
the
Saturday and a
8th.
Sunday.
Yep, the 8th is the practice day, and then the 9th is racing. Both days start at 9.
It sounds like fun. I will be at Blues Clues Live on the 8th, so I wish I could go. But yeah,
I plan on going on the 9th, the day of racing. Not the practice day. I mean, I may go down on the practice day just to kind of scope it out to see where to go, where would be a good spot, what the layout of it is. But I plan on spending all day there on Sunday night.
okay. All right, so there's that coming up as well. And there is some talk about putting together, like if we do this October walk, leadership has been talking about doing like a scavenger hunt. So a photo scavenger hunt in Portsmouth. Exactly how that would work, I think we're still figuring that out, but
Fun.
it's always
Yeah,
been something I've wanted to do. I always thought that it'd be a lot of fun to like, here's a list, get out there and be creative with the list and figure out some way for somebody to win something. I don't know.
Yeah, I
Divide
mean,
up in teams, maybe like break off in teams and just everybody go off and do their own thing and meet up at some point. I don't know. We'll have to figure it out and we'll let you know a date for that. But I would really like to get out to do it. So we're definitely gonna try and make it happen.
Yep, definitely sounds like fun.
Sounds fun.
So, all right. So I guess if that's it for housekeeping for tonight, we'll jump right in and I'm going to share my screen. Everybody can see Lightroom?
Yep.
Hooray.
So
All right.
not everybody was on when Sean and I started talking. We're gonna hold pretty tight to that 5 minutes because we have 19 images to look at tonight.
Ooh, that's
I know,
good.
right?
Yeah, so we got quite a few. 5 minutes is usually pretty good. And if we go a little long on a couple of them, it's okay. Not the end of the world.
All right.
So first up though, and these are in pretty random order here. So first up today is Deb Boulanger.
So we spent 5 days out in the cabin in Hyde Park, which is right outside of Stowe, Vermont.
Nice.
And we were just driving the back roads. I think we were in Jefferson. Actually, Jacob sent me a note and said, hey, was that in, I think he said Jefferson. He's like, that's literally a few houses down from my parents' house. So I thought that was pretty cool. And I think it's Mount Mansfield in the background, but I made my husband do a quick turnaround down a dirt road in the fields. And I was on a hunt for red barns. And it was just an amazing trip out there. That's it. I mean, I did other things too on my summer break, but our highlight was our trip to Stowe Hyde Park. Right outside of Stowe. We had a cabin out there for 5 days.
So what does everybody think of, I mean, I love the story, Deb, but what does everybody think of the image itself?
I love old barns. Old barns are cool.
I
Old
think
barns are cool.
it definitely says summer, and I like how it's not like the colors are kind of muted. It's not in your face vibrant. It almost makes it look like a painting, and I really like that effect on it. I don't know if that's what you were going for, Deb, but it looks really neat.
Thank you.
Is there
Also,
a texture laid on this, Deb?
No, what I actually used, what software did Reed tell us about? Color Effects 4?
Oh, yes, that's
I
in the
pulled out the
software.
detail.
Yep.
just it makes it feel very relaxing. Like even the red on the barn isn't really bright and in your face. Like you can almost hear the the hum of the grasshoppers and the grass in the picture. And you did a really, really good job on keeping everything in focus. Is this composite or?
Nope, it was a single
No?
image.
Yeah, I like the way you use the wheat stalks as your foreground element here, and they look to be pretty much in focus. Nice job.
Thank you.
Yeah, I
You
like
almost
how-
hear the wind blowing.
Yeah, the wind was definitely blowing that day.
to me, there's a really nice color harmony happening here. Like the top of the image has, because of all the distance to the mountain and the skies, a lot of blues going on there. The bottom of the image is complemented by the yellows and stuff happening in the wheat field. And then you have that strip of green and then the pop of red right in the middle. And it just looks so nice. It's so well balanced color-wise. I like it a lot.
I really like that it's not oversaturated as well. It's really easy to overdo it on the color, but it's just a nice, relaxing scene.
Thank you.
And the pop of red I find is, horizontal wise maybe centered, but not so much. It's a little shifted to the right. And my eye goes to the front of the barn because the door's half open. And for me, that's in a third. So I really do like the placement of it.
Any, we all love it. Anybody have any recommendations to make it better?
If it was left to me, I would pull in Lightroom, I would pull the dehaze slider a little bit to the right, because I think that would make your mountain pop just a little bit more, because it does look like it's a hazy day
Yeah,
in the background there.
Something along those lines, Dennis?
Yeah, a little bit more,
Yeah.
and I don't know what, Deb, it's up to you what look you were going for, but I would just, even at that, the dehaze gave it a little bit more definition.
Mhm.
And, because there's a lot of detail and texture back there. And I would and then maybe it's just me, I'd put a post-crop vignette around this, just again, to hold my viewer's eye on the barn, because I believe that's your main subject and that's where you want your viewer to look. So I would just do those very
That's it right
fine
there.
details.
Yep.
Nice. Thank you. I like that.
Yeah, I agree.
It
I mean,
just all
the
kind of
dehaze-
wraps right around it now.
The
Yeah.
dehaze, I think you could maybe do like a gradient over just in the sky and the mountain, so it's not affecting your foreground, but that would be an artistic choice, I think.
Another thing, when you use dehaze, though, you can lose some of the depth of field.
It shouldn't affect your depth of field.
I feel like it added to the depth of
The
field.
depth in
with
the-
the white
Yeah, it adds-
form added.
It adds depth.
That's the
and dimension.
visual result,
Yeah.
that your eye
Yeah.
is thinking, your eye is now drawn there to the
Okay.
barn with all of those changes that were made. So it may not have actually affected the depth of field, but it actually affected your perception of it.
I like.
No,
the
I
detail.
see the layers more clearly now.
Yes.
The front layer, the mid layer, the mountain layer, then the clouds.
Yeah,
It's just,
yeah.
they
The,
really, each layer pops now.
Yeah, the added contrast is going to give you a little bit more depth of field.
Mhm.
We're past time.
Okay.
I know,
You never broke
Oh,
in
and
there.
Dennis is instructing, we all listen, we
No,
stop.
just
We
real
listen.
quick, I can
'Cause
see
he's
the
spot on.
3D. I can actually see more of the 3D in the mountains with the dehaze. Thank you for all that.
All right. All right. So anything else for Deb then?
Great job.
Yeah,
Very
nice
nice.
work, Deb. I love it.
Excellent.
Nice.
All right, next up, Sharon Stewart.
Oh, snap. That's fun.
Yeah, I stopped at Portland Headlight one day and it was really crowded. So getting pictures of the lighthouse was just too frustrating. So I figured I'd just go down on the rocks and try to capture some of the waves. But I did combine 2 photos to get more wave action.
Wow. What's your shutter
So
speed here?
what shutter speed?
Yeah, yeah. Here it is.
Let's see.
I
Do I have
put
a
it in
shutter?
the email. I don't
hit I.
remember
Don't tell me
offhand.
what to do.
Okay. And
It's not
again,
there.
Hit I one more time.
Scroll down, Sean.
There it is.
Oh my goodness.
So 1/15 of a second.
Yeah.
And that choppy, because of that, you get that choppy with the splash, and it just adds even more chaos, I think, with the choppy. I love it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you.
And I love where you can see all the droplets just flying
Yeah.
everywhere.
Yeah.
That's beautiful.
There's a lot of action in here. I like it a lot.
Thank
I
you.
think I might consider cropping it up and in from the right a little bit, just to eliminate this green.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't really go with the rest of the image, and it's a little bit distracting in my eyes.
Okay.
Let's see what it looks like.
or reduce the saturation if she wants to keep that much in there.
Good,
Yeah.
good suggestion. Yeah. Or if you go into Photoshop, you can content aware, and sometimes it is sick good. And it just,
Yeah, content aware is
Yeah.
pretty good.
yeah,
But I mean, I think that works just fine.
Yeah, I think I like it better without the green.
Yeah, the
Yep.
green sort of like it grabs you because it's the only green in the whole image. It grabs your eye and just sort
yeah. It's a
kind
little
of-
distracting.
of takes you right out.
Cool.
Very nice.
Very nice.
Yeah, very dramatic. I love it.
Mhm.
Oh, thank you.
Beautiful.
And Sharon, just as a question, did you try pulling your highlights down,
Mhm.
your highlight slider? Because I think there's probably, and I'm assuming you shot this in RAW, there's probably a little bit more detail in that center splash, which I believe is your main subject.
Yeah, I do pull the highlights down, but
Yeah.
with other things that I do to it, it might have lightened it too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there's decent detail in there. I
Mhm.
mean, even this like size down JPEG.
Mhm. Feel like it softened it a little bit,
Mhm.
makes the rocks pop a little more,
Mhm.
especially that front crop standing right at the wave.
It does
Yeah.
sort of turn the sky kind of a weird sort of shade of blue in my mind.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're right.
So if you only want to affect those whites, I have a new toy that I've been playing with in Photoshop, and it's select tool. And you can pick colors that you only want to affect, and you can pick the whites. And you can use the black adjustment, raise it or lower it, and it can do amazing things to your whites.
Wow.
What you do is you
Just do
pick
it
the
right.
white, and then there's a black adjustment tool, and you drag it and play with it.
Okay.
So
I'll
it
have
is
to look
called
for
select color.
it. Okay.
The adjustments drop down.
I love select color.
I use it every day now,
I love it.
every day.
We don't do enough editing.
I just need Photoshop lessons from
You
everybody.
gotta go into Photoshop to get it though.
Yeah, it's
Come
Photoshop. It's not
back
Lightroom.
out.
And
Yeah.
we don't have time to dig into Photoshop on here.
No,
We have
no.
about
wait,
30 more
oh.
seconds.
I'm waiting for Hunts to come up with their Photoshop again.
Well,
Their
Dennis,
Lightroom.
Dennis did 2 Photoshop classes
Mm.
for us, and they're up on our YouTube channel.
Yes, he
You guys can
did.
just go back and watch
Yeah,
those.
that's right.
That's a good
I
point.
know, right? We did cover Photoshop with like the master.
We did. I know. I said I just need more every day. I said every day. I'm never gonna learn enough.
No, there's a lot to know there.
There.
All right. since we're kind of off topic, Sharon, this is fantastic. Does anybody else have anything else for Sharon?
When you did the highlight slide, did that bring out more blue in the lower part of the water? Because it looks blue and it's beautiful. I love the contrast.
Here?
Yeah,
It
Little
probably
left.
did because I did a radio filter.
yeah.
Oh, right.
So I saw what was happening in the sky and decided to, just bring it into, try and pick what I wanted to do. So yeah, it probably brought these highlights down as well. And probably didn't affect the blue much, but it took all those whites down. So now the blues pop more.
I think that's what happened. The blue is definitely popping more. It's beautiful.
Very nice.
Well, thank you all.
All right. All right, Monique, you ready? And take your silence as a yes.
Yeah, sorry, I just say yes, sorry.
All right. Next up, Pat Corlin.
Sad story. This was my summer. I didn't have a summer vacation this year. I did a lot of traveling back and forth to New Mexico because we've been working on a new family business, bringing up to rentable status. We purchased 2 short-term rental buildings in New Mexico. One is in downtown Albuquerque, and this is one of the houses. And we have a little game room that we set up in the basement, which is a rare thing in New Mexico. But I finally, and honestly, in like 7 months, I flew every month back and forth building these houses, to putting it all together with my daughter. And I didn't bring my camera because we did 10 and 12-hour days for 10 and 12 days straight in a row. And then the last trip at the end of the summer, I was able to start doing the real estate photos for it and for the short-term rental Airbnb page. So this was one of the projects. This is an image in the background that I took up in a hot air balloon in New Mexico a couple of years ago that is now living down in the game room. And we bought a chessboard and a chess table and vintage game cards that all have New Mexico and Albuquerque on it. And we're just building this little space. So it's kind of like all the work that I've been doing all summer on vacation, which isn't technically a vacation. I did fly though. But there's a light at the end of the tunnel. If I'm taking real estate short-term rental photos, that means it's almost done. Dare I say it? Knock on wood. Almost done. Actually, it's renting. We just got our first rental. They're not in yet, but so yeah. So that's what that is.
So can I ask why you did it at such a steep angle where the chess pieces look like they're just going to slide off the screen?
I wanted to add drama.
Oh,
I wanted people to go, what's going on here? Yeah, that's what I wanted with this photo.
Love the
The room,
perspective.
the real estate photos, these are detail photos that I took. The actual room is done in a true traditional real estate fashion where all of the vertical lines are straight and you're not warping the size of the room. It actually looks like it's supposed to look, but this is one of the detail shots. So I was allowed to play a little bit. So I did.
I like it. I think
love
it's different.
It's different. It's different.
I
Yeah.
like how she just focused on
different.
them.
The creativity is
Yeah.
really great.
I'm glad you liked it.
It's a great focal point. Rather than
Highlighting the
focusing
king and
on
queen,
And the
Yeah.
balloons in the background for
and the balloon in
Albuquerque.
the background, because Balloon Fiesta, the
Starting right now.
largest balloon festival in the world, takes place from October 2nd, I think, through the 10th, and that's just about to start. So, and Albuquerque is famous for it, absolutely famous for it. So,
Kind of mimics, excuse me, you had a helter-skelter kind of summer that depicts it
this has
very
been the
well.
weirdest last 8 months that I could even, I mean, it wasn't even on the radar in December, and then things happened, family related. And we decided to buy my husband sold his business. We decided to buy a second home close to our daughter who lives in New Mexico because they're trying to start a family. And then that morphed into, when you're not here, you should put it on short-term rental on Airbnb. And that morphed into other things. So yeah, very bizarre, very fast. Carpe diem, right? 'Tis my motto.
Very nice.
Yeah.
Thanks.
1 more minute.
I'm done. You can move on if we're behind schedule.
No,
Feel
no,
free.
no.
Yeah.
You get
feel
your
free.
5 minutes.
5 minutes. We don't need 5 minutes.
I like your use of a shallow depth of field. I like the use of a foreground element. The placement of the balloon is good. I like that.
Cool.
I like that you can still tell what everything is that is out of focus.
Yes.
Kind of, yeah, kind of the goal.
It's almost like it's the perspective of the other queen. It's like,
Yeah, yeah. And that one white pawn that's standing forward. Yeah,
that's you.
that's a great ring.
I guess your 5 minutes is up now.
No, it wasn't. It wasn't even my timer.
Oh, that wasn't the
Was
timer.
that the timer?
Oh, that was my phone.
Oh. Carry on, carry on.
Now it's my
Good.
timer.
All right.
God, I like it, but I'm listening to port.
Yeah,
Yeah, that'll happen. Yeah. Drink another glass of wine and, yeah.
We'll straighten out.
I don't even need that. It's just.
I know my neck is getting sore looking at this.
Oh, that's
All right, go to the
that's
next
'cause
one.
you're
Go to the
trying
next
too
one.
hard.
Yeah.
I'm trying to be a NHPPA judge here.
Embrace the challenge
All
of something different. Yeah.
Nice job, Pat.
Nice job.
All right, next up we have Carol Martin.
Oh, cuties.
oh. This is what we did this summer.
Oh, my favorite.
Our son
subjects
and
right
his
there.
wife and their oldest boy, Paxton, moved in with us because they sold their house and were waiting to find a place. And while they were waiting to find a place, they had little Mr. Kellen there.
Oh,
So this has been our summer.
Wow.
they look so much alike.
They
That's
look
awesome.
exactly alike. That's what I was just gonna say. I mean, exactly alike.
Mini me and mini me.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
they look a lot like their dad, so.
Wow.
That's great. That's
I'm
great.
just trying to read the expression on the dog's face.
You have the dog's attention.
Yeah, yes,
Definitely
they
have
moved in
the
with their
dog's
dog. I didn't mention that. That's their dog. Ours isn't in the book.
attention.
What's funny is I think the dog and the baby actually kind of have a similar expression.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah,
They
they do.
totally do.
Oh, what on earth is she doing?
And they have the
Yeah.
exact same catch lights in their eyes and yeah, yeah,
Wow.
same angles. Cute.
Well, now the summer's over and they've found a place and they'll be moving out within the next week or two.
Oh,
Sweet.
wonderful.
Kind of bittersweet, but
Life happening.
it
Yeah.
is. It's
Yeah.
good.
It is good. Life is good. Right there.
Yeah.
Beautiful. I think
I
the
think it's
dog is like perfectly
Very
lit.
precious.
He is like
Very
spot
nice.
on. I think that the boys are a little overexposed.
Well, yeah, I bumped up the exposure for the online because my monitor's not calibrated quite right.
Okay.
It's looking kind of dingy, but I'm thinking maybe I upped it a little too much.
I think I can see all the detail there though. So literally just drop down your highlights a
Yep.
little bit, drag that
Yep.
back a little bit. And I
Yeah.
think you'll recover anything that you're missing.
I think so.
It's not
Yeah.
lost. or
No worries,
overexposed.
Gary.
Yeah.
No, it's just that the dog is just so spot on.
Yeah. Yeah, go figure.
His expression
Here's the
is
toughest
a lot.
part.
Right, right.
Usually, yes.
I mean, a half a second later, the next image was not so good.
Usually how it goes with pets and kids.
We'll
So,
make it look really blurry by zooming way in.
oh, I was just looking to see, because it looks to me like the eyes of the dog are sharp and the eyes of the two kids are not quite.
Yeah, and it's funny because I would have been focusing on Paxton's nose, but
Yeah, I mean, for whatever
It
reason.
was a fleeting moment, so.
Yeah, then maybe they moved a little bit. I don't know. I was just looking to see. I said
Yeah.
you were at F4 when you did this.
Mm.
Maybe just stop up a little bit and or stop down, whichever way you want to look at it. But
Well, I sure didn't have any of my studio equipment out. It was just a quickie. hey,
Oh,
look
no,
at
I get
this,
that.
let's do
Yep.
this.
I'm just trying to find some way to critique it a little bit,
Yeah, okay.
you know,
So,
so had you been at more like F8 or F9, probably everybody's in focus.
Probably.
And you can maybe try and cheat a little bit with a sharpening brush tool to just do those, literally do the eyelashes, the dark
Yes.
rims and the outside of the iris, and then the pupil, sharpen those up and
The-
it might save everything for you.
Doesn't he have eyelashes, that one?
Well,
It's
like
not lost.
better than girls, like
Yeah,
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 they're
the girls-
beautiful.
yeah, they're gonna hate him.
Actually, I think they're gonna love him.
Yeah, probably the other way,
Oh, they
yeah.
will.
I think this is super adorable, and I love the spontaneity of this photo. Like you can definitely tell that they were just kind of all there and looking the right way at once, which is super hard. I just wish that the angle was just a little bit lower to get more of the dog and more of the kid's fingers in the shot and like the bottom of the couch. But overall, I think it's a really sweet moment.
Thanks.
I think I might try to brighten the eyes a little bit on the older child.
Yeah,
I don't know if it's just my laptop monitor, they just look a little dark. And the dog and the younger one has that catch light in it. So I think I would just brighten his eyes up a little bit.
Okay. Oh, now I'm looking at his hair. He's sweaty.
You've been playing hard.
Yes.
They have the same hair. The baby has all that hair. That's
He
amazing.
does. And,
My
and
girls
it's funny
were bald.
because it was plastered down really good right there, but normally it's standing straight up.
That's great.
That is our time on that one.
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Karen.
Very nice.
Good job. Nice job. All right, next up.
Beautiful family.
Next up
Thank
is
you.
Peter Morse.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, we spent our summer in 1 week. We had a cruise on the Rhine River in Germany. And one of the stops toward the end of the cruise was Kinderdijk, which is a UNESCO site with working windmills. We ended up shooting, at least I did, completely everything with my iPhone 13 Pro. So it was, and we were always seemed like we're always on a forced march. So it wasn't a lot. Every time we landed in a new town, we had a 1.5 to a 2 hour walking tour. So I just, I did a lot of landscaping photos because I really enjoyed having the lightness of my phone. So that's what we did.
Very nice.
You had a real vacation.
Yeah.
Right?
Wonderful.
Well, if I'm a travel agent, so if I don't have a good vacation, nobody has a good vacation.
I did not realize that's what your line of work was. Oh,
Yeah, that's my
nice.
retirement job.
Nice.
But we got to ride in that barge.
That's what I was gonna ask.
Yeah, they had a choice of walking the dikes or taking a barge, and after 7 days of walking, we decided we're taking a barge.
Oh, heck yeah. Oh, yeah. And
It
my
was-
way view, yeah.
So I don't know what you did to this, Peter, but I've had a fifth client come to me now with an iPhone photo that they want it large. If you take the iPhone photos in the Lightroom and you run enhance on them, you'll more than double the size. And then I've been using Topaz Sharpen AI on the iPhone photos, and I've just had my fifth happy client with a 20 by 30 shot off of their
Oh,
iPhone.
yeah. Wow.
Wow.
So I've been getting a ton of business, and everybody comes to me with a pretty bad iPhone photo that obviously has a lot of emotional content to them. This young lady, the last one I just did, was a shot at their honeymoon, and she really wanted it. And she emailed it to me, so it was literally 300 by 400 DPI.
Yeah.
I got the photo offer. It was 1200 by 800, which I was able, once enhanced, run it up to, it was like a 6x8 photo.
Yeah.
And then I upsized in Photoshop, but and then I used Topaz Shop and AI, because as we were going up, it was getting losing a little detail. And it looks like the end photo ended up like it looked like it was taken with my Sony A7 R4. So there's a lot that you can do now with iPhone photos, and I'm getting a lot of customers that are somewhere, don't have a camera, but they have their iPhone.
Right.
And they take a spectacular picture, but the challenge is to get it big and clear.
Mhm.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, I cropped that quite a bit to
yeah.
and
Yeah.
I didn't realize on my computer, it doesn't look quite as sharp here as what I saw on my computer. So,
Yeah, but great shot.
Yeah.
thank you.
Big.
Yeah, the
It
file.
was a lot of fun. It was exhausting, but a lot of fun.
Do they let you in the windmills?
Yes.
Oh,
neat.
Oh, wow.
Very cool.
Yeah, we got to get in, we did some interior shots in there, which was really interesting. And the millers do live in the mills. They're there 24 hours a day. They're working. They're not the major source of moving the water, but they are working in conjunction with some electric gates that they use to. So it was pretty cool.
Nice.
I wouldn't think that this was Germany. I would think it was more like Holland.
Well, it's Amsterdam. I'm sorry, Kinderdijk in Amsterdam,
Oh,
just outside
okay.
of Amsterdam. It is the Netherlands. Yeah, I'm sorry, Deb. I kind of
Beautiful.
We were in 4 countries in 8 days and 9 cities.
Wow.
So it was like,
wow.
You didn't go into any of the brown cafes, did you?
no, we did not. No, we were warned about that. No.
Ooh, there
Don't
were
go in for a cup-
warnings.
don't go in
I
for a
might
cup
have.
of coffee.
On that
Don't go
note,
there.
we
Okay,
are
I'll
out
do
of time.
Don't give me a warning. That's a bad idea.
Oh, somebody knows about them.
All right, I think I heard Monique say that was time.
She did.
All right. Anything else for Peter?
That's cool.
No, very envious.
Yeah.
Very
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
Very cool experience, Peter.
Like what you
I
did.
can make it happen for you anytime you're ready, Lisa.
Okay, we'll talk, Peter.
All right, next up is mine.
Oh,
Now.
Karen.
Hey, no kidding, right?
No pun intended. Yes, it was. Sorry.
So yeah, this was obviously
Freaking love
taken
it.
at one of my trips to Lime Rock this summer. This was back in July. This particular event is our biggest crowds of the year. So I always like to put the people in the foreground
Mm-hmm.
and add a little depth to the panning and whatever. So anyways, that's that.
Fun.
That is
Really fun.
really neat.
Yeah.
Mhm.
How do you do that, Sean? How do you get the foreground? I don't get that. How do you, what do you do?
Camera.
So there's I pre-focus. So I use back button focus on my camera. And I pre-focus on the racetrack itself, or I'll use a car going by beforehand. And pre-focus through the crowd, and then pick up, cars as they come by, and I pan, with the cars. So this is at what, 1/50th of a second,
Mm-hmm.
and
So
200
it drags
Wow.
a little.
That's fascinating.
That was
That's
crazy.
Really is.
something.
Yeah.
Well, next summer I'm gonna have to make a trip down to Lime Rock.
I think we ought to plan a group outing to go down there for a weekend, Sean.
It'd be fun.
It would be wicked fun.
Yeah.
Mhm.
This particular shot you could do without having media credentials. This was taken from a spectator area.
Yeah, because you're in the stands, right? Yeah.
Yeah, well, I'm around the people.
Sure.
I work inside the crowd as much as I
Mhm.
can a lot of times. Yeah, I mean, one of the things about Lime Rock that's nice is you don't really need the credentials to get close.
Not really.
So, but yeah, so anyways, this is one of my favorite ways of like, kind of telling the story of the event.
Right. I think this one would be a great candidate for your storytelling, right?
Yeah.
Because there's enough here to lead the viewer to sort of know something, but ask a lot of questions, right? The cars are going by. Obviously, it's a race. I don't need to see the whole car to see the competition. And I see the people and I don't need to see them clearly, but okay, the race is behind me, but what are they looking at? Right. So it's a good photo just to generate some conversation and tell a story. So I would think that would be a good candidate for your future show and tell.
Yeah, it could. It's probably not what I have in mind, but yeah, it could.
But it would work.
So are the cars parked and the people ran by?
Yes, they ran very fast.
How do you explain the sign though being out of focus?
That also ran by.
Camera shake.
Yeah, a lot of it.
That's a great shot. Wow.
It really is cool.
Well done. Well done.
Well done.
That's
I
awesome.
keep just looking all around and being like, ooh.
I know.
didn't see that
Ooh,
part. This
picking
is
out
a
little
great
things
part.
that are working. Yeah. It's great.
And Sean, were those two different cars?
Yeah,
I'm just asking because they look like they might be from the same team.
they are. Yeah, that team had, I think, 5 cars. There were 5 of them that look like that. I have a start of the race shot that has, I think, 5 or 6 of those blue Hyundais all at the front of the field coming around. A couple of them are off in the dirt.
Cool.
Yeah, I got back into the media center and my lead photographer asked, he's like, how much did Hyundai pay you for that shot? I don't know.
In your dreams.
Yeah, I don't know, but we're gonna start negotiating now. But yeah, so this is when I'm at the track, this is how I approach racing photography. I want to tell the story. I want it to be contextualized.
Very good.
Yeah.
Beautiful.
I know. Bravo. Well done.
All right. As you guys all know, I'm usually pretty eager to just move on from mine. So
Me too.
thanks, everybody.
I'm betting I could do that by mistake.
We'll move on to Pat Watts. Very pretty photo of a lighthouse.
Oh. Yeah, our vacation was just a few days in Rhode Island, and of course we got rain. So we tried to get the sunset. It took us a long time, a couple days to find this lighthouse. It's a public lighthouse on private land, and you need special permission to get parking. And we tried to come out and get it for a couple of days, and the clouds weren't cooperating. This is actually facing south, and sunsets in the west. So the sunset was a complete flop, but we got a little bit of color, and I had to expose for the sky, and everything in the foreground was dark. I wanted the lighthouse to be brighter. So I tried to work in Lightroom and had some issues. I did a little lightning in Photoshop, but I haven't done much with it. So it could use some work. I like the quiet sky, and it needs a lot more, but I thought, well, it's good for discussing problems.
You know what, Pat? I don't think you need to do any more with this, because that little lighthouse just looks so nice with that light back, up in the light. To me, it looks a little stormy, but that's what lighthouses to me are all about, if you can catch it a little bit in the storm. But I really I love lighthouses anyway, but I think this is unique and I really like it. I don't think I'd change anything in it. That's just me.
Yeah, I really like it too. I mean, I think it's really great scene. But I do agree with you, Pat, that the foreground needs to be brightened up at least a little.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Pat, if
too flat, it doesn't match the background.
Yeah. If this was mine, so if you're going to Lightroom now, they have some spectacular new masked features. And what you want to do first is select subject, and it should come up and select your lighthouse and the whole foreground, or you could select sky. Now, once you have this mask, before you go on with that, did you do invert and copy the second mask?
Yeah, so I went out, so I did select sky.
Yeah.
I thought that honestly, I only did that because I thought Lightroom would do a better job of selecting the sky. And then I went into these 3 dots here and did duplicate and invert.
An
the
invert
mask.
mask. So now you.
The second one is your foreground selection.
Right.
That
So
makes
now
sense.
you have the ability to handle the sky separate from your foreground. So I would pull up the, I would set my white and black point first. And if you hold down the Alt key and move your whites to the right, you know when it'll show you not to overdo it. Hold down the Alt key on that, Sean.
Yeah, I am. Nothing's happening.
Oh, okay. And well, okay, just keep moving.
Does that work in the selections?
What's that?
Does that work in selections? I know it works globally, but does that work actually?
Yeah, it should work in selections, but I would lighten that up a little bit, move up my whites. I'd move my blacks down a little bit. I would give it a little clarity because clarity is mid-tone contrast, but it looks like sharpening. And I would now go to the sky mask. And I might put, if it was me, I would put a little bit, I would pull up the vibrance on this a little bit. And vibrance is, I'd never touch the saturation, but I'd pull up vibrance. Well, this with the selected mask. Yeah, you have to do it with the.
That's a global adjustment.
Yeah. So you can do it with the saturation here. You can move that up a little bit if you want to get some colors. And then as Sean's moving right now, you can move your temperature slider, whether you wanted it to look warm or cold.
Yeah, I'm not sure I would change much with that. I don't know if I like what I was doing with the blues. But you can drag the highlights down a little bit. Put some contrast into the sky to really pop it out. Yeah, I mean, that's quick and easy. There you go.
So now hit the Y button so she can see the difference between the two.
That's what it needed.
So yeah, I
I
mean,
hope you're recording this.
I am. Yeah, and that
I want to go back and look at all of that. That's great.
Lightroom selecting is, I found it's good, but it's not great sometimes. So it may need a little bit of other adjustments. This is quick and easy, but I can already see you're getting some haloing happening around the lighthouse. So some of that's being pushed too far, like in here. Let me get rid of that. But
So
like,
this would also be a good candidate for doing a bracketed exposure when you're actually shooting
Yes.
it and doing an HDR combination.
I think that's the better option, is to do an exposure for the sky and an exposure for your foreground, and then put them together later.
I tried to get onto Lightroom and I don't know if there are some new updates or something. I could not get all of the information to work with the page. So I just gave up and I went into Photoshop and did a couple of quick things. So I need to figure that out. It looks all different on my screen. So I didn't have time today to play with it.
We
But
are at
that's
10.
just me.
Nice shot.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
I usually would want more of the water showing, but the clouds on that side were just dull gray. They were ugly, and I liked the rocks and the weeds. So that's why I did it
The
that
way
way.
it's cropped though, the lighthouse placement is right on the third. I mean, it's right where it needs to be.
Mhm.
Yeah, so I don't think you need any more. Any more could potentially take away from your project.
And the rocks have great contrast and detail that you kind of lose if you moved over with the darker clouds and the more ocean.
Could, yeah.
It was pretty right before that because there was a lot of greenery in the rocks, all those little bushes and plants.
Beautiful.
And then they were setting up for a wedding right behind it so that they could watch sunset, which we didn't have. We were sneaking around.
Very nice.
I heard Monique in the middle of all of that conversation. So Pat, great job. Anybody else have anything for Pat? All right,
Thank you
nice
for the
work,
help.
Pat. Well done.
Thank you.
Beautiful.
Next up, we have Dennis Rainville.
So what I did in this summer vacation, I finished up the last genre, and I will start a new genre of photographs in this, I did a collection of these. These are black and white macro florals. So part of this capture was done via the shot. So I shot this one at 1/320th of a second f8 and 1600 ISO, and I had macro flash on the end of lens. I don't know if you've seen it before. There's two flashes that sit at the end of my lens. So I shot at 1/320th to specifically darken the whole scene, and then the macro flash lit the subject that was in front of me. And I kept it at f8 because I wanted the leaves in the background to be there from a context perspective, but I didn't want them obviously where I wanted the viewer's eye to go. And then I processed this heavily in Lightroom because, again, I did the select subject, which had selected my flower in the bud going up and to the right. And then I selected and inverted that mask, which gave me my entire background, and I darkened the background down even more. And I could have gone completely black, but again, I didn't want the flower floating and out of context. And as you can see, it's pretty sharp. I did 3 levels of sharpening on this. I did the input sharpening in the detail panel in Lightroom. And then I ran this through Topaz Sharpen AI. It's been doing a pretty good job. And then when I was doing some cleanup, because there were some defects on the flower in the front, took it into Photoshop. Very easy to put a blank layer above and clean up all of the bugs and dirts and brown spots. And if no one's done it before, you should look into sharpening with a high pass filter.
Love high pass filter.
Yeah, it does a great job. And in Photoshop, this is done selectively, right? So I sharpened the whole thing, put a black mask, and only painted it back in on the flower and on the bud. And I did a series of these. And for me, a genre is if I can get on a particular genre that I want to do, I can get 20 keepers. And if you want to see more of these, I posted them up on my website. So this was a very interesting thing. Oh, one major key tip I will give you if you would like to go off and do this. I set my camera LCD screen to black and white for the capture. Very interesting. If you're out there and you're going to shoot a red flower against a green background, it has color very high color contrast because red and green are opposite colors, and it looks great. But if you turn it, you get home, you turn that red flower against the green foliage into black and white, red and green are almost at the same tonal range in your grayscale. So all of a sudden the flower disappears. So I set my LCD to black and white while I was shooting the flowers, so I would see if I would get the tonal contrast that I needed. And then, of course, even though it looks black and white when you take it home, the raw file's still in color, but I just turned it back into black and white, and I know it gives me something I need to work with. So that's what I did on my summer vacation.
Played in Photoshop.
So.
Very nice.
Thank you.
I'm just in awe of all your flower photography. Every time I look at it, and it's like, oh my gosh, that's why I'm leaning more and more towards flowers and the artistic look to it. And
you know,
just
there's so much you can do with the florals, and
yeah.
I'm kind of being forced into it. Obviously, I have a lot of florals up here. When I go down to Florida, it is the worst state for landscape photography in the world, right? So I have a membership to the Naples Botanical Garden. So I go and I shoot a lot of florals, but you can do something like this with black and white. I don't know if you saw one of the ones I did. I started painting the florals. That's a different thing, and it's done on my Wacom tablet with a brush. And I did one of this Dahlia Center, and it took me about 12 hours to complete it. And I think if I sat down with a piece of canvas and some oil paints and a brush, I could paint today, because it's the same thing with these types of very interesting brushes on Photoshop. So there's so much you can do with the florals.
You just inspire me every time I see your photos.
Oh, thank you very much.
Now, what lens did you say you used for this?
What lens?
Hmm.
I have the Sony 90mm macro lens, which is a great lens. And again, I had the flash. It's a double flash. I don't know if you've seen it, 2 small flashes that mount right on a ring at the end of my lens. So I can move them around the circle. I can put one up, I can put one at 10 o'clock and one at 4 o'clock, and I can kind of shoot. And I also will set the lights in manual. So if I set the 10 o'clock to 1/4 power, I'll set the 4 o'clock to 1/8 power, right? So I want to still create some shadows and lines on these petals, right? Because it has the ridges. I just got to make sure the light comes across to show them, because that's what's giving me depth. I didn't set both lights to the same value. And I think when Sean has Don Chick come in, he'll talk about the same thing, doing ratios on your lighting. So I'll play with the placement and I'll play with the ratios, and that's what defined the ribs on the petals.
So you're treating it almost like a portrait situation where you have a key light and a kicker, essentially.
It's the same thing. You have a key light and you have a filler.
Yeah.
Right.
Gotcha.
The only thing I'm missing is a hair light, but
Yeah.
didn't need it in this case. It's the exact same thing. Once you understand lighting on people or subjects or studio lighting, you can create the same thing. And I could actually do this with one flash on the 10 o'clock position and put a piece of white foam core board at the bottom and bounce part of the light back. So there's a lot of things you can do, but it's the lighting here. If I shot this face on with the same power in both lights, each one of these petals would be flat and they would just look like a white soft petal. But it's the details that I needed, which I think captures the viewer's eye.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's nice. I like. There's a real painterly look to it that I like a lot. And
Yeah.
my eye just keeps going all around and finding different details.
Yeah.
The whole time you're talking, I'm just kind of like. So I noticed you shot it at f8.
Yep.
That was a choice.
That was a choice because I didn't want those leaves in the background in focus.
Well, right. But I'm talking like as opposed to like.
Right.
F4,
The flower and the bud is pretty much on the same plane. Right. They're not very looking forward from a depth perspective. They're both on the plane that the f8. I was probably getting 3/4 of an inch of depth of field, and both the bud and the flower were within that pocket when you're looking at it from the side.
Gotcha. No, very cool. I'm sure we're over 5 minutes, but
yes, a little bit. Good conversation though. It was hard to interrupt.
It's hard to interrupt. I can listen to Dennis talk about this stuff forever. So it's yeah.
Thank you, Dennis.
Thank you.
Thank you, Dennis. It's almost like I hate to move on, but the next one looks cool too. So looks like we have Chris Wagner. Chris, is this you or is this Mason?
No, this is mine.
Okay.
Not sure how I can follow up after that last one. That was a great picture.
Don't look at it that way.
But we went on a vacation to Seattle and up to Alaska.
Yeah.
Back in August. And between Seattle and August, or in Alaska, we had like I think it took probably over 300 pictures, so it was pretty difficult to figure out which one I really want to represent. But this is a nice shot, I thought, where basically this is one of the cruise where every morning we had coffee on our little balcony. And I figured one of these days I'm going to go ahead and take a picture of just my wife and I's mug on the, looking at the mountains. And as I was setting the mugs up and everything else, all of a sudden this fishing boat comes by, and I'm like, this is just perfect.
Yeah.
I thought it was a nice little extra piece of the landscape. And then this is, by the way, shot on just an iPhone 13 Pro, edited with Pixelmator Pro on my iPad Pro.
Very nice.
So
What,
it's funny, the moment you said coffee, I could immediately place it to the Pacific Northwest.
Yeah.
well,
'Cause that's where Starbucks is. That's like coffee is known for up there.
Right.
Portland and Seattle, and there's a calmness to this that, yeah, I love it.
Yeah,
I
this
wish
is,
there was steam coming out of the coffee mugs, though. That's
I
what
can
really-
see it.
I think I do see some steam, but that's not easy to get. So.
yeah.
Chris,
This
what
is-
port was that?
I want to say Skagway.
I just got back from Ketchikan on Monday for 10
Oh.
10 days. Yeah. So I was like,
Yeah. It might, it could have been either Ketchikan or Skagway. I'm thinking, actually, now that I'm thinking about it, it was probably Ketchikan. Yeah.
it looks a lot like Ketchikan with the fishing boat.
Yeah.
That's why I was asking.
Yeah, this is another great candidate for your storytelling,
This
right?
is great storytelling.
Your context with the mountains in the background, the trawler coming by, the table with your coffees, right? This is a great storytelling shot.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and
thank you.
Something that works really well for a shot like this, and if you did it on purpose, kudos. If not, I'm just going to tell you it works, so you know for later. You see how you have this blue line representing a separation between your mug and the background? That's what you want. If this line of the mug were falling directly on your horizon line, that's called a tangent, and it's distracting, and it takes away, in my opinion.
Gotcha.
I like to see either this line right where it is, or even coming in, it would be okay if it was below this, the highlight line on top of the mug. You just don't want them to hit at the same place, because if they hit at the same place, your eyes will notice that and it causes tension. And this is such a calming image, you don't want tension. This is not an image trying to provoke that emotion.
What I was trying to do was put the mugs within the lake or within the water. Not necessarily exactly what you're talking about, but you're right though, where I didn't want the mugs to be on the tree line or right on the beach itself.
Yeah, because even to you, as you're setting the scene up, it's causing some tension that you recognize, and that wasn't what you were trying to convey, I think. And so, no, I think it's a great image, and Dennis is right. This is a great example of storytelling. So,
yeah,
thank you.
You've got one blemish to clean up on your horizon line on the right-hand side.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a little distracting.
Oh, okay.
This one is the most important one, and then this too. Like I would probably, if I was going to go through this, I would probably fix this as well. This little black dot here.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, those are super quick and easy in Photoshop, but and you could just crop this in. The image could handle that if you just crop that out.
I also like that you can tell that you're not sitting outside, that there's a window or something in between you and the outside. That even adds to the story as to where your placement is.
Yeah, because you can see the raindrops on it.
Yep. There is a glass panel between us and the outside, I guess you could say, beyond that.
Yeah.
Very nice.
Yeah. Well
I
done.
like
Nice job.
I like
Thank you.
how a lot of the grain in the wood in the table is very sharp and the cups are very sharp, and that landscape that's in the background, which would typically be the focal point of someone's picture, especially if they didn't live there, the mountains, the trawler, all the trees around and stuff, that's what's out of focus. And I agree with Dennis, that makes it a really good storytelling image, because it's just you can picture people just sitting at the table having coffee in their pajamas, sort of just talking about their day and enjoying being together with the two coffee cups, and not necessarily focusing on what's out there ahead. And it does make it a very calming image. But one of my favorite memories with my husband was the first time we went camping together, just getting up at sunrise and having coffee that was percolated over the campfire. And that's what this makes me think of. But I also like that you can see a little bit of reflection in the front of the coffee cups, but I can't see you in the reflection. I don't know how you had yourself angled, or if just my eyes are getting worse, but it looks like maybe there's a reflection of a window or a door or something. But you know, I don't see any reflection of, you know, you standing in front of the cups holding your iPhone or anything, because that would be very distracting. So good job on keeping that out of the photo.
We are out of time.
All right, we're out of time.
Thank you, everybody.
Nice job, Chris. Good stuff. All right, next up. Maybe, there we go. Kate Wilcox. I'm not sure she's on the call, so we are recording this, so we'll make sure to still talk about it. I don't know, obviously we don't get Kate, you're not on the call, right? No, I guess not. So obviously we don't get like the backstory for it, so. But it's cool.
Very
It's
nice.
definitely Kate.
Detail.
Yeah, he did a great job with his focus, right? Because the hand doesn't need to be in focus. We all know what a hand is, but he did a great job on the, we call them sewing needles. Very nice.
Yeah, look at the eye and the wings.
She's got really good detail on the tail too, where you can see all the little layers. First, I didn't think it was real. Well, I've never seen a dragonfly that close.
See the little hairs on its nose area. That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Little antennas.
I'd like to see the bubbles on the right-hand side go away.
Over here.
Crop it.
White.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the white spot on the first finger there is distracting too, to me. That's good.
Yeah, and I know, I got a couple other camera clubs and everybody gets really sick and tired of hearing me, but you really want to add a little bit of a post-crop vignette to this. Again, your main subject is your sewing needle here and the hand, but you want to bring it down. You got to be very subtle about it, but you want to push your viewer's eye or keep your viewer's eye in the center, right? Before you remove those white circles, right? Then I went, after looking at the sewing needle, I went to the lower right-hand corner because it was bright and distracting me, right? The human's eye always goes from light to dark and from sharp to out of focus. So the vignetting, and that's kind of an Ansel Adams thing, right? He always said a picture wasn't finished until it was framed. And he wasn't talking about a physical frame. He was talking about the vignettes that he applied to 99% of his shots, of which I'm a big fan of Ansel Adams. And it really does hold, you as a creator should control where your viewer looks.
But the vignette had taken care of that little off to the side bubble that was there.
No. It made it darkened it down so you didn't notice it quite as much, but yeah, I wouldn't have taken care of it otherwise.
Yeah, not as much, because then you would have had to bring the vignette in too far. And the way Sean just did it, it should be subtle. It shouldn't look like a black circle when people look at it. But if you go to the effects box there and turn that little switch off on the left-hand side, you can see before and after, and it really does make, it's all of these small details that really kind of take your photos from that 90% to that 96, 98%.
The details in the wings are just amazing.
They are.
Stained glass almost.
It's exactly what I was thinking of. They do look like stained glass with the tones of yellows and the black lines. Definitely color on that one.
Yeah.
Oops. For contrast.
Too bad you can't make the hands like a less subtle color, but
We can bring the
Color.
saturation down a bit. I think it's just oversaturated.
Yeah, well, you can go into HSL panel and go into HSL, Sean, and go under saturation and grab if you're not sure where the color is, that dot in the top no, just leave it like colors here. That dot in the top left-hand color, yeah. Go there, now go on the hand and pull it down, and it'll find the color for you.
I feel like you'd almost have to mask out the dragonfly. So it's almost like it's lost too much of its color.
Yeah.
Well, that's
You
what
know, I
I
think
did a
or even
global
doing it in
adjustment.
Photoshop.
I had already done a global adjustment.
Mhm.
And so if you, so it looks like the skin tones are mostly in the oranges. And then the dragonfly is mostly in the yellows and greens. So you could separate them fairly easily.
Yeah.
We are out of time on this one.
Yeah. All right. All right, anything else for Kate then? All right, nice job, Kate. Hopefully you watch it. All righty. Next up, Ben Kramer.
Yeah, so this was a buddy of mine local to the area, does a lot of filmmaking work, and a project that he was contracted to do got canceled. So he got together with another friend and they decided to shoot a trailer for a movie that doesn't exist. Basically, they have an idea for a movie, and in order to try and pitch that movie, they shot a trailer for it so that they can show that trailer and try and get interest for it. Unfortunately, I can't talk about what the movie is or anything, but part of it involves baseball, obviously. So this is a shot. I got to be a production assistant and production photographer, basically, for the 2-day event. And this is them shooting a scene, some close-ups of a pitcher on this little league team. Yeah, not much more to say about it than that.
It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I like the
Definitely tells a story.
look of it.
I was just going to say that.
I would have liked to use some flash, but obviously while they're actually, recording stuff, I can't. So I think the light worked out because they had, they were already bouncing light into his face for the shot. So there wasn't much needed in the way of adding light.
Why did you go with a square crop?
There were just some other distracting elements in other parts of the frame that I didn't want.
Mhm.
And a square crop let me cut those elements out, but also retain certain elements that I needed for the context, like the microphone. Yeah. It also helped, I think, focus it down more so the kid's face could be a focal point. Because there's a lot going on in the scene, and to try and draw your focus onto, just that face, a lot of it has to do with how close you're at or how big you're actually making it with your crop,
right?
As well as the focus and the framing.
So one thing that my eye keeps going to is on the right, the
Flashboard.
the little screen or flashing, whatever it is, keeps getting drawn over to that.
It's funny because I see it there and it is acting almost like a framing element for the boy.
Yeah, I could look at it that way too. Yeah.
Like I was actually just thinking how the microphone, the reflector, the camera, the director, how that just sort of creates this cool semicircle around the boy and everything sort of points to him.
And it gives you the story that there is a film being made. That's what I like about it.
Yeah. Very
Are
nice.
these kids actors or were they really little leaguers?
I think for the most part, they're all actors.
Oh, okay.
Usually for this kind of production, they're gonna, try and get as much, local talent as they can. And when if kids are trying to become actors, getting to be seen in things is
Mhm.
just that much more experience for them and screen time for them.
Was this done in Rochester?
This was in Kittery.
Oh,
Right off of 103, right?
I don't recall the road.
So it's a cool experience. It's a cool photo, nice documentation, and another good storytelling candidate. Yeah, good job, Ben.
Thank you.
Nice job.
All right. Next up, Lisa Shortlift. It's a picture of a bird.
My puffins. My puffins. So we went on my husband and I, our first vacation in 4 years. We did a lot of vacationing this summer, actually. We spent a week at the Bold Coast of Maine, Lubec, New Brunswick. And one day I went out to Seal Machias Island and spent 2 hours at a bird blind taking pictures of puffins. And they are very cool little birds. And there's only 2 boats that are allowed out there per day, about 15 people, and that's it.
You
It's
had a good day to get 2 hours. You had
Yeah,
good
it's
weather.
a bird
Yep.
sanctuary, Canadian bird sanctuary off the coast of Cutler, Maine, about 10 miles off the coast.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Yeah, it is a highly sought after trip. Tickets sold out in 45 minutes when they went on sale for 3 months worth of trips out there. And I bought them in January and didn't go till July. Very
Yeah.
much looking forward to it.
I had the same experience. We got to stay for 2 hours, and the general story about that particular that trip is that you're lucky if you get 15 minutes on the island, because if the sea changes, they pull you
Yeah.
out. You're gone.
Yep, there is no dock, there's a ramp that is
awesome.
covered with seaweed that you land on, and the gentleman that goes out of Cutler, he tows a boat behind him, and that's how you get to the island. You cannot even dock the boat that you're on the island, and there's no guarantees. I mean, you pay $180 for your ticket, and there are no
Mhm.
guarantees you're gonna get on the island.
Right.
And we had huge rolling ocean when we were going out there, but we got on the island and we got 2 hours. And
Very
they
nice.
are literally feet away from you in the bird blinds.
So cool.
I didn't know puffins was so colorful, especially in their beak.
This supposedly is what they are during breeding season. During the off season, when they're not during the breeding season, their beaks are gray. And supposedly those little yellow buttons are breeder buttons, is what they said. We didn't see any babies when we were out there, but they were all done having their babies. But there were thousands of them. I think they said there were 13,000 birds on this
Wow.
island.
Wow. It's a nice shot. You caught him just right with the separation on the back line all the way down to his tail feathers, still in the light. You just separate him, popped him right off the back. If you'd clipped that shadow in the back, it would have faded in a little bit more. It's beautiful, beautiful capture.
Yeah, I loved his eye. That's what
Yeah.
I love the most, is because most of my pictures that I took out there, the eyes were black.
Yeah.
Very few pictures that the light caught the eye the right way.
Yeah.
So
Cool.
that's what I liked about this one, is that it did capture his eye the right way. Yeah, they were just very cool. They just popped all over the place, bounced, jumped from rock to rock, and yeah, they were really neat birds. But it was definitely the highlight of my week up there. And if you've never been up to the Bold Coast of Maine, I highly suggest you go.
That's beautiful.
Looks like a nice nail job.
Yeah, yeah. But some of them had bands, some of them didn't have bands. This one doesn't have a band.
How about the poop in the bottom left-hand corner? Can you get rid of that, or?
Oh, I don't know.
You think think that adds to it?
Puff and poop is important.
Is it?
Yeah.
Yes, all over the
Quote, my
place up
favorite
there.
quote of the day, puff and poop is important.
Important, yeah.
I'm getting a t-shirt that says that.
And Lisa, I'm sure will agree, if it's not puff and poop, it's turn poop.
Oh,
Correct.
yeah.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, you had to walk out to the bird blind with sticks over your head to beat the birds off, because they would attack you if you didn't have a stick.
Because there are nests all around too.
Oh, it nests everywhere, and you had to
Yeah.
stay on the boardwalk. You could not go off the boardwalk. And yeah, your sticks were up in the air the whole time you were walking out there. So they would attack the sticks and not you.
Sounds like Star Island.
Oh yeah, where's Amanda?
Yeah.
Well, years ago when I went
Cool.
out to Star Island, the seagulls were hatching their babies and they
Oh,
get very
yeah.
aggressive. And they said to wear a hat and carry a stick. So,
I went out there once and I got great photos of baby seagulls.
Oh,
And live to tell the tale.
Yeah,
To you.
well, I went out there with my 500 mil. The seagulls didn't bother me at all.
Oh, well. They didn't even have babies when I went out there.
Yeah,
There
no,
were babies out there, they were older.
Yeah.
no, the babies. When the one time I've been out there, the babies are little puff balls, little gray puff balls. They don't look like seagulls at all.
Yeah, no, these ones were still gray, but they definitely weren't little itty bitty puffballs anymore. But a couple of the adults didn't really seem to care. So
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish we had seen some baby puffins, but we didn't see any.
well, this guy's pretty cute.
Yeah. Oh, they were awesome. They really
Yeah.
were. They were adorable.
catching
Yeah,
that season just right is really tough when they're coming in with the fish hanging out of their mouths here.
Yeah, they weren't feeding when we were out
The
there. Well,
babies
they
were gone.
but
Yeah,
not-
yeah,
Not,
yeah.
not a
I didn't
lot.
get them either when I was there, but I did get the 2 hours. And
Yeah.
it was pretty awesome.
Yeah, I'd do it again in a heartbeat. It
Yeah,
was-
I said the same. Yeah,
Yep.
it's pretty cool.
All right, we are out of time on yours, Lisa. Thank you so
There you
much.
go.
You're welcome.
All right, nice job, Lisa. Next up, Amanda Matsoulis.
Ooh.
Yep.
Somebody's
So
been hiking.
this one's pretty self-explanatory. Aside from the Star Island trip, I didn't really get out a whole lot this summer. I hiked Owl's Head in mid to late June, and then this was from a trip where I went to go hike Mount Jefferson on Independence Day, and ended up, let's see, this was on the trail. I started going up Mount Washington and was taking the Gulf Side Trail to Mount Jefferson. If you ever get the chance to do that, don't. It was terrible. And so this was part of the trail leading up to Mount Jefferson, and then you can see some more of the Southern Presidential range in the background. I did take this with my iPhone 13 Pro. I did not lump all of my equipment along with me for this hike because sometimes it's just added weight I don't want on my back on top of all my gear. And then I did a little bit of light editing in Lightroom, and yeah, that's it.
You didn't meet LT up there, did you?
I did not meet LT up there. No.
Oh, pretty.
Very nice.
Looks 3D.
Love all the contrast and just how the green pops and how the blue pops.
Mhm.
Yeah.
The composition you've used here with like the nice foreground leading in, you got a couple leading lines leading up to the mountain peaks and stuff like that. I think the only thing I would do is just remove some of that blue sky at the top. Pull that down a little bit.
When did you get here?
No, hi, Jared.
Yeah, I didn't really
Hi,
I didn't put
Jared.
in too much, so I didn't.
2 photos.
Yeah, hi,
ago.
Jared.
A while ago.
I snuck it.
That's something like that.
Yeah. Yeah, that extra blue sky I don't think was helping you at all. Kind of blank space. So other than that, I do like where you got. I like this. There's a nice little leading line too with all the rocks, so you know it towards the trail and stuff like that. It's kind of neat. Nice
It looks like you can step right into the picture and go, that.
And
on
start
the-
walking.
Yeah.
I agree. I was just thinking that I want to follow the trail and see where it leads this way.
Mordor.
Ooh.
It's very Lord of the Ringish, yeah.
Yeah, you feel like you're part of the fellowship here. I don't know, who's my nerds in the group? Come on now.
Yeah, well, either that or you see Strider and all them running.
I would love to see Strider running by me on a hike, Deb. I really would.
You know, he almost didn't take that part. It was
I know.
It was his son
Stuart
talked him
Townsend
into
had it originally.
Who?
Stuart Townsend.
Fate often is a good thing. Yeah. For
Well,
one, but not for the other.
Vigo Mortensen said that he almost didn't take it. His son talked him into it when he heard that he was going to play Aragorn. And he says, Dad, you got to do it.
Boom.
Yeah, this looks like you're coming out of Mordor.
Yeah, well, there's definitely times on some of these White Mountain hikes that it feels like you're going through, all the razor sharp rocks that they traverse on the way to the mines of Moria, because
Earth.
this area is fairly green looking. There are
beautiful.
a lot of big open spots that are just nasty, rough, pointy rocks, and half of them move, and you don't know which ones are going to move till you step on them. And yeah, so I'm glad that this image sort of provokes a feeling of adventure and peacefulness for some of you, because the trip was not really like that. So
do you purchase the hiking insurance when you do this?
Oh yes, yep, hike safe, and thankfully I haven't had to use it yet, but a lot of room for error out there. So
That definitely has that ruggedness, like that tundra feeling that, it's pretty desolate up top there. There's not much living there. And the only time of the year you ever see green is like basically June till like end of August.
And now there's snow and ice.
Ooh.
We are just about out of time on this. Final thoughts?
All right. Really cool shot, Amanda. I really like it.
Thank you.
That's very nice.
All right, next up, Alicia Tebow.
Oh my goodness.
Oh.
Aw.
So this is my dog. She's my world. This summer, I'm just gonna be transparent. So this summer I got divorced and moved in with my friends, relocated 3 hours to be back around my family and friends and stuff. And she loves trails, she loves running. And so thankfully I found a trail that we both love that has water for her. And so this was us on the trail this past Saturday, but we've been doing it all summer. And I taught her how to lay down on a log. And you can tell that she's kind of mad at me because she's that one ear flick. Usually it's like this. Both of them are like this, but she's got the one ear flick, I call it. It drives me bonkers, but yeah. And I tried out a new editing style for eyes, and I dropped my camera a while ago, so I think the focus is more on the log than on her face, but I'm trying not to be super critical of myself. And yeah, that's my photo.
You're pretty sharp in there.
For all you say she was angry at you, I swear she looks like she's smiling in this.
I was just gonna
No,
say
that's a great
that.
big smile. Yeah.
She has an underbite, so it usually looks like she's smiling. And I love her. She's great.
It's working for this.
Yeah, we'll just say she's smiling. She's happy to be laying down.
Yep.
You can see her little teeth.
Yeah.
Yeah. It makes her look, and she does actually up on the corner on her black lines on her lips. Cute.
Yeah.
Really cute. Sweet.
That is adorable.
She looks like she's waiting for you to throw a tennis ball so she can jump off the log and go chase it through the woods.
Yeah.
The softness in the background is really nice too.
Yeah. The fall off on her is good. Yeah. Yeah.
Thank you. There's a photographer that I follow that I did the eye edit from a video of hers, and I added the movable light. So it was morning golden hour. Why I was up on my day off at morning golden hour, I have no idea, but I was. So I went in the woods with my dog, and I added the movable light so that that hazy yellow light on the side is added, but it was morning golden hour.
Nice. It's beautiful.
Thank you.
Very nice. So, quick question.
Yes.
When you shot, where were you focusing?
So my camera told me that I was focused on her eye, on her left eye.
So what was your shutter speed then? You maybe wanted to bring your shutter speed up, being in a dark environment, and get a little bit more of a crisper.
I think it was like 320.
Oh, really? Wow.
Well, you said that you dropped the camera, right? And it's not auto-focusing properly now?
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Because of course I did. Why wouldn't I do that?
I did that. Don't worry. We all done
Everybody,
it.
everybody does that.
It's like every
camera. Bam.
I need to get it fixed.
It's
That's
a
what I
horrible
need to do.
Sony, a Nikon, what do you use?
Sony.
Oh, okay.
It's right here.
Jared, is there like I'm part of Nikon Professional Services. Do you know, is there something similar for Sony?
There is something similar for Sony to get the priority stuff. It's like you need two full frame body cameras and stuff like that, and like a whole bunch of their prime lenses.
Yeah, but information as far as like how to get a repair done is there, right?
I know who to contact for that stuff. Yeah, I know
Yeah.
how to get information. I can share it.
Yeah, Alicia, Jared is kind of our resident Sony pro.
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I was gonna say Jared Plant is kind of like the resident Sony pro. So if you have any questions about like Sony Professional Services or how to get something repaired, and he usually can help answer those things.
I definitely do. I will look in. How do I contact you? Can you put it in the group chat? Because I will send you a message.
Will do.
Thank you.
Jared
But yeah,
loves to
so-
volunteer him for things.
I don't mind volunteering for anything as long as it's helping another photographer. I'm willing.
So yeah, I think so. Is she blurry? Because I was going back and forth on that. Like, is she blurry? Is she not blurry?
So I can kind of tell that you did some sort of a process on the eyes.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and when I look close, I mean, from back here, you can't really tell. So it's not a, you know, but if you look close, I can kind of tell that something's going on there. I don't think it's but yeah, because I think some of the brow would be sharp as well as the eyes. You know, you have to think about sharpness. If you're going to do something like this, think about it in terms of depth, and everything that's on that depth plane has to be sharp along with the eyes in order for it to look natural. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Yeah. But you know, from back here, I think it looks sharp enough. So
No, it does look sharp enough, and it does look like the focus was there on the eye. I mean, it was definitely trying that. It just might be off slightly because you see the nose is slightly out of focus too, which is not. It means you are focused slightly behind it. I mean, I think if you went maybe like an f-stop, like a small, like if you shoot an f8 shot at like 9 or f11, you may have got a little bit more focus, and it might have helped you a little bit, bring a little bit more contrast or more focus to the face. But still,
My f-stop was 1.8.
Yeah.
Oh, tight for a dog.
Try F4.
You look like you're pretty close too.
Yeah.
Close for a dog. Yeah,
We're
if
pretty
you
far over
can,
time.
if you can close that down a little bit and try to remember that most folks are going to tell you that you're going to want your eyes and your nose in a dog sharp. But I think it depends on what lens you're using. You can still get that softness in the background. But if you can first of all nail those eyes, and then if you can nail the nose as well, but that's tough because it sticks out so far. So you definitely a 1.8 is like, bravo to you for giving that the go, because the eyes do look sharp. But if you want to keep that, you know, the nose as well, and then you can cheat and like you can border the edge of those ears right in the front with a sharpener brush. And you can tighten up those a little bit too. There's, you know, in the curve of her smile. Is it a girl, female? Curve her smile. If you dark, you know, sometimes you can just pop that with a little brush. Is she there? Oh, she's right there.
I would, even if you have a large depth of field too, if you shot like 5.6 or
There she is. Yes.
you'll definitely get that. And then, and even if you wanted to like kind of blur the background a little bit, you can use like a program and you can blur that out a little bit more. So if it was too sharp for you, you can always,
You can feather that and soften that back a little bit more. It's a lot easier than trying to sharpen up a nose.
especially
Definitely.
if yeah,
Definitely. Jared, good advice. Yeah.
you can blur the background using software programming, but with
Right.
if you get the focus tack sharp where you want it, then you can do whatever you want with the rest of the image, and no one's going to ever know except for you as the artist.
All right.
Thank you. This was very helpful. I appreciate it. And I'm sorry for going over.
Oh, no.
That's why we're here. That's why we do this.
If we were worried about it, we would have cut it. All right, but we are cutting it now. Yeah, great job, Alicia, and same for both you and Chris. I want to give you both just some kudos for participating at all. It's not easy to put your work out there for critique, so nice, just nice work all by yourself just by doing that. All right, next up, Susie. She's playing with a new technique.
ICM, I love it.
Some magic there.
I got up at 4 a.m. to go take a nice sunrise photo, and it was terrible that day. So I tried the ICM.
Good.
Yeah, I like it a lot. It's really big right now. There's a whole bunch of photographers doing ICM, especially at the seashore. So these have been doing extremely well.
Yep.
I used to do these about 15 years ago, and back then it was just a bad photo. But these, I'm looking forward to getting back down to Florida so I can go to the seashore to do some ICM work. And I like this a lot.
It's not as easy as I thought it was going to be.
Oh, it's not. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah.
What does ICM stand for?
Trial and error.
Oh, I heard a question.
Were you
Intentional camera movement.
Were you handheld or on a tripod?
Handheld.
Hang on for a second. Wow. Someone's asking what ICM stands for.
Oh, intentional camera movement.
Yeah.
So it's a bad photo done on purpose.
It's an artistic
Great, thank
choice.
Yeah.
Perfect.
It's an artistic choice done on purpose.
Yeah. It's hard to get the waves to do what you want them to do.
Just get them to line up like that.
Yep.
Yeah.
So
This is
how long was your exposure?
I don't know. I wrote it down when I sent the photo in. I wrote it down, but I can't recall it.
Yeah, Lightroom didn't bring it in for some reason. Hold on, I got it right here. Is Susie right there? This is it says 0.8 of a second, so just shy of a full second at f9 and 140 ISO.
Good choice.
Yeah, nice work.
They're very nice. I like these a lot.
It's not as easy as people think it is either. 'Cause,
No.
if it's up or down, you're in
That's
trouble.
like by hand.
By hand.
You do this by hand?
I did. I held the camera right up against me and moved my body.
Geez, I wish I could pan this steady.
Great technique. Awesome. I love it.
The layers in there are absolutely beautiful. And the layers with the colors, I mean, it's a nice job.
Nice editing job too, because you kept all the pastels without blowing them out the way a lot of people would, just like oversaturating, and they did, even your editing work I think is nice.
Thank you.
It's clean, very clean.
And I like your choice of not putting the horizon dead center. I mean, it's slightly down below, but with the extra layers of the contrast with the shadow of the waves, it really kind of just blends in really nice and gorgeous.
And then the filter, because I had a 6-stop filter on it, I put it in my car and I scratched the whole front of it.
Oh,
Ooh.
So now I have to buy a new filter. Because I took more pictures about a week later and they all had, it was like a blurry line down them.
Yep, and you'll see something like that in a photo like this every time.
Every time. I went through all of the pictures I took, and they all had it.
It's the only thing sharp. It's like sensor dust. If you have sensor dust, and you do stuff like this, you're gonna pick it out every single time because it'll be the only thing that's sharp.
Yep.
Oh yeah, really cool, Susie. Nice work.
Thank you.
Well done.
You should print that. You should print that either on metal or as an acrylic. I think they would look really, really cool as an acrylic.
It's beautiful.
So, all right, nice job, Susie.
Great job, Susie.
Next up, we have Deb Manning, who did some drinking.
No, actually, my husband and I went down to the Wentworth Mansion, and being senior citizens, we get in free. So we did the tour, and I saw this decanter there, and I just really liked it. So that's my story. Oops. Yeah, I'm not.
And you're sticking to it.
Yep. Yeah, it was just sitting on the table.
Nice
Yeah,
job
I
with
think
the
you did a good
lighting,
job.
Deb.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was, what time was it? We were down there. I think we did the last tour. We just happened to pop in and they said, you know, I was talking to the lady and I said, do we have to buy tickets? And she said, how old are you? And I said, we're over 65. And so anyway, she said, nope. She says, you can do it for nothing. So one thing that was good about being old, you can do this stuff. You can get into a lot of places for nothing for the state of New Hampshire.
Bonus, bonus. If we have to
I
be
like the
this old,
reflection
I
on the
want the
table.
discount.
And then how the shadow of on the wall really plays in off that corner of the wall there. It looks really nice.
I didn't do too much editing on this in Lightroom because everything was pretty well just exposed. I just sharpened it up a little bit and that was it. And they told me like I couldn't, you know, taking pictures, I don't know, some about you can't use them for commercial or something like that. I don't know.
Yeah, so it was it a historic building that you were in, a state government building? You usually
Yeah,
have to-
it's the Wentworth Mansion down in Portsmouth.
Okay, yeah, they usually require permission for resale of images shot on property.
It was
That
the
kind of
same
thing,
at
that's
Shaker
not
Village.
uncommon.
It was the same as Shaker Village when we did that trip.
Yeah, not uncommon. You can use it for you can use it to exhibit, but you can't sell it to a third party, usually is what it is.
Yeah, that's the commercial part of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
You
yeah.
can't sell it.
And then I did a lot of doorknobs while I was there too.
The reflection's really cool underneath of it too. You picked up the reflection of it.
Yeah, here in the prism.
Yeah.
It's like this like triangular shape here. Yeah, I keep looking through this, wanting to get closer to like just look through all of that glass and see what kind of cool shapes are in there. Like just to see how the light were to come in. Yeah, I might have tried, looks like just looking at where the specular highlights are. So there's a window sort of over
Yeah,
here.
it was sitting on the table and the window was off to the left.
Yeah, left and sort of behind you a bit. Yeah.
Yep.
Huh, I wonder what it would have looked like, with just like sort of backlit just with the window and just had like the light coming through it. I'm not sure you would have had that opportunity or not, but
Well, it was about, I think we were down there like 3 PM this summer.
yeah, I would have overexposed it so it was all basically just a white background and just light coming through it just to see what shapes and stuff. I mean, just an idea that comes to mind.
Well, next time I go back, I'll have to try.
Yeah, I have to give it a go.
You're always such a good sport like that, Dan.
What?
Always looking to improve your skills. You say that
Yeah.
every time. Let me try it a different way.
Well, I took like 4 pictures of this and I had them dark, but I didn't think about going light.
Yeah, very cool, Deb.
Yeah. I guess it's just my tabletop I like.
Yeah, hey, you know I like it too, so.
Did they have any teacups in there, Deb?
No, but they did have fuzzy wallpaper.
Next time, sneak in some teacups and set them up with the fuzzy wallpaper. See what you can get.
No, I should retry doing the teacups again.
All right. Anybody have any more for Deb? Any further comments? All right, nice job, Deb.
Very nice.
All right, up next is Tom Sorensen. Whoa, cool.
Oh.
Freiburg Fair?
Wow.
Farmington Fair.
Farmington, all right.
That's a cool perspective. Really cool.
I really love the top downs, they call them in the drone world.
Yeah.
Top downs. I really enjoy doing these, and I was actually playing with some new equipment. Most of my summer has been doing business planning and taking classes through the University of Maine circuit. So trying to make myself official and go into business doing mostly real estate photography now. So I was playing with a new drone and seeing how it did in the nighttime. I think it handled it pretty well.
It looks like a puzzle.
Yeah. Oh, that would make a great puzzle.
Just looking at all the different shapes, and that orange one at the very top, I swear to God, it looks like a frog.
It's a giant slide, actually. It's a tiger.
The tiger, yeah. Right?
No,
What kind of
I'm sorry,
drone did you
towards
use?
the middle, the orange one, it looks like there's two legs and almost like two back legs. Oh, that's the tiger.
Yeah, that's the tiger. It's actually a slide, so you slide down his back.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah, it was a pretty neat little fair.
With all the color that there is everywhere, my favorite parts of all of this are these little shacks with the little circle of light around them.
Yeah.
Getting cast in the shadows.
That's every time I'm looking around, that's what captures my eye, or like this one right here with just the light coming off of it. I mean, the rides are cool and all, but that's, I don't know, you get to see the people, and
I like that left one that you got like the cursor on right there.
Right here.
You can really see the shadows of the people being like cast out by it.
Yeah.
Up in the top left there.
Did you shoot this at Blue Hour?
This was actually, yes, this was Blue Hour.
I love Blue Hour light because it really, you can still pick up a ton of detail and kind of creates just that blue hue and everything. And I think it works really well with this picture.
I can see it.
Agree.
I can see Asina saying, "Oh, I was after the circles."
Yeah.
And then seen a picture.
Personally,
What kind of camera is on this?
So DJI owns Hasselblad now, but it's got a Hasselblad camera on it, but it's been reworked by DJI, so it's not really a Hasselblad anymore. But it is. So the DJI camera.
Oh, okay.
Yep.
Yeah, this really would make a great puzzle.
Yes, it would.
That's funny you say that. Like I put this on Facebook, and a few people commented that same exact comment.
Yeah, I don't like doing puzzles, but it would. I know my granddaughter would like doing them, doing something like that.
Yeah, great
So would
shot.
my husband.
Yeah,
I just want to keep looking. There's so
Yeah.
much to
What's
see.
going on?
I like the use of the leading lines because I follow the sidewalk and then I go to the center and then I like follow all the little details in my eyes and my brain just keep going around and around. I don't have like one particular spot that I focus on, but I really enjoy color and I love the lights and everything, and I feel like you captured it really. It's a really cool shot.
Thank you. Yeah, I was pretty much at my I was at my max altitude right here, and like I got up there and I was like, oh yes, I can fit it all. So like I can't go above that 400 mark. So actually the drone only lets you go up to like 394 feet. It'll actually keep a buffer to keep you away from even the 400. but I was kind of glad I could fit it all in with one picture, because it's not easy to stitch a top down, because you have to physically move the drone
Well,
around.
not only that, but like in this instance, all these people would be moving.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Your point of perspective changes too.
And like
all
the
around.
rides are spinning around. Yeah, to stitch something like this would be a nightmare.
Super long, huge file.
So yeah, you'd need far more than 2 shots.
Mm-hmm.
So, but hey, great job, Tom.
Thank you.
Yeah, nice one.
There's a lot of diversity in tonight's critique. It's awesome. All right, next up, Chris Morse. Is a picture from Bavaria.
It is from, was it, that's Germany.
Yes, Germany.
That's Germany. And there is a section of the Rhine that's known as the Middle Rhine, which has all of the castles on either side. This particular white building in the front is the Pfalzgrafenstein Castle. Like Pfalzgraf, dinnerware, with Stein at the end of it. And this is on an island. Way back when they would, it was a toll castle. So they had chains going from the land to the castle on both sides.
Across the river.
Across the river, yeah. And I was just intrigued by that history. I thought that was pretty cool. So you would have to pay a toll to get from one end of the river through this section, or to go back in the other direction. If you didn't pay the toll, they would capture your boat.
Huh.
And as you can see, it's very hilly in the back there.
Those are vineyards.
I was gonna say, is it a vineyard?
There you go.
Yeah,
Go
those
ahead.
are vineyards up there.
Yeah.
At about a 45-degree angle. I was able to see with my binoculars that they cultivate all the vineyards along the Middle Rhine with what looks like tanks. They need tracks on their vehicles to accommodate the angle of the slope.
That's cool.
Kind of scary to think about it. And then the contrast with the newer city down below was kind of neat. That's why I like this photo. Story that goes along with this is that I did take my Sony mirrorless and my cell phone. This was taken with my 13 Pro Max.
Yes.
And the reason for that was because the first day my battery died after about 20 minutes
In your
of taking
camera.
pictures. My battery in my camera died. And so we go back to I didn't take the other battery with me, because when I looked at the battery before we left the room, it said that it was 75, 80%. And I thought, we're not going to be out that long. Took less than a dozen pictures that day. And battery died. So we get back to the room, go to have dinner. We come back. I look for my charger for my camera or my battery. It was at home on my dining room table.
Oh,
Yeah. So I said, okay, well, for a couple of days, I'm just going to use my cell phone, see what I can get here. And then on, I think it was Wednesday or Thursday, I decided to try again with my Sony. So I got the other battery out. It said 65% on it. Got off the boat, started walking around, and battery died. So I wasn't really happy with me at that point. Yeah, it was a long trip.
I was also thinking, I like this shot. I like the whole, like, there's so much to talk about in here. I saw Sean started crop. I was going to say, try cropping a little bit more from the right, too. Kind of make it more of a portrait. Maybe, yeah. Because that's the section you're really, that's the section I'm really looking at. Yeah, that's straight. I like that.
yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, I like it with less water in front of it for sure.
Yeah, I think the buoy was kind of distracting, didn't really help it.
Yes.
Cut some of that out. Especially,
Yes.
but a little bit of water to kind of give you the sense that you're on the river or the waterway. So
It was an amazing trip. It was an amazing day.
it looks amazing.
It sounds it, yeah.
That's so cool.
We had never done a river cruise before. We've done
Ocean, deep water, yeah.
deep water, the Royal Caribbean kind of stuff. And this was Viking. And the first day they said, okay, now everybody has to go back and get their life jackets and bring them back here to the lounge area. We're going to meet and talk about this. We go back, get our life jackets, put them on, go back to the lounge area. And he said, okay, in case any of you have not yet noticed, we do not have lifeboats on. Oh, yeah, good point. And he said, that's because if we have to abandon ship or if we start to sink, you need to go up to the top level. There's a garden up there, there's a mini golf course, a shuffleboard, chairs, all that good stuff. He said, you go up there and you wait. The only thing that might get wet is your shoes. The water is not deep enough. He said, and if we get to a place that's not deep enough for the boat to go through, you need to all jump up at the same time. So that was our life saving.
Yeah, it was a lifeboat drill.
That was a lifeboat drill with no boat.
All right.
Well, thank you. I like that, Croc.
Yeah, no, it's a great story. I'm glad you guys had fun. Next meeting, I want to hear more about it.
Amazing. Well, thanks.
All right, we have one more. So Jared, what did this score at International Print Competition?
That one didn't enter. So this was for everyone that was on the trip out to Star Island this summer. This is from there. I actually have just started working on those. Been super busy with work and the little guy at home. So I figured I love these little dories. I thought they told a pretty cool story in general. It was nice, calmer waters out there. So I'm in mid-production on this. Like some other people's thoughts on it, and I just love this. I just love these little boats. I think they're super cool, super New England style, and always bringing a smile to my face when I see one.
It amazes me that the 4 boats are lined up pretty good, and then you have the one that has to be the oddball
Of course.
at the top. It's neat.
Yeah, well, to me, it's that breaking of the pattern and it works.
Yeah.
I also like the fact there's 5. I hate even.
Yeah, the odd number helps as well.
Yeah.
I feel like the boat facing towards us like points to the little steps of the other boats. So it grabs your attention and leads you directly to like, okay, what?
Sorry.
Just reversed
Oh,
it.
There you
that
go.
just goes with my brain. It's fine. I'm awake, I promise.
Sean likes it starting lower left, going upper right, and I'm the exact opposite.
Oh, I like because more often than not, people read photographs the same way they read words on a page. So left to right, and so it all depends on which way you want to go here.
I like that it's black and white too, because I don't know. I don't think it would look good in color.
I'm
It's
sorry,
just one of-
Alicia, I think I cut you off when I did that. What were you saying?
I said, I like it in black and white. I don't think it would look good in color.
I think the blackness of the water adds even more depth if it was a colored one, yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah, I agree on what my dad said.
Very nice, Jared. We had more fun watching those darn boats.
That's when the wind picked up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that the boats probably got the most pictures of anything that day out there.
Jared, I like the way you have the lightness in the back to read from the top down. It gets darker as you go down. You start with the one boat that's off. The one thing that is distracting me, and I know they're in the water, are the little white bubbles around the shadows of the boat.
So So it's funny, I started eliminating them, and I remembered I had to go to dinner with my mom tonight for her birthday. So I stopped doing that, and I said to Deshaun, I am going to remove most of those white bubbles because I don't think they help the image whatsoever.
Yeah, because the shot's beautiful. I absolutely love it in black and white. I don't know that I've ever seen boats that are in a row like this in black and white. It's just, it's stunning.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if you would like, so I'm getting a lot of depth in the water, but within the boats, the tonal value is kind of almost very similar. So it's like kind of messing with my eyes a little bit because it's like the boats almost look like they're flat, but you get this depth in the water, the dark to the light, you know, like kind of like what Dennis went over in our class and the way he kind of broke down the building. You know, you can almost do the same throughout. So like your most forward boat would be your lightest boat, or even your rear boat would be your lightest boat, and then move forward more. Maybe just bring it into Photoshop, and you would lighten them as they came or as they went.
Right. And I do it all in layers too, because I'm trying to work it so that way I'm not adjusting too many layers all at once. I'm working on like this portion and that portion. So I think I got the water where I want it. I'm still working on the boats because as you can see, the paddles and like the seats are really bright highlights. They've already been brought down. They're just the angle I was shooting at has a very high reflective tendencies with whatever they coated them with. So still a work in progress. We're getting there.
Yeah, but there's a calmness about this too.
Yep.
You can also see the motion of the waves behind it. It's just like the gentle waves of it. Did you use a filter on that, Jared?
It was just a polarizer on this one.
Is it?
Yeah, polarizer to kind of cut down on some of the reflective glare on the water, but not so much that you start to like get rid of some of the highlights that are there. I wanted to keep some of the highlights to create depth in the water.
You're definitely going to have to post the final product.
Absolutely.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, I don't know, somebody mentioned the tonality of the light going from top to bottom, well, and left to right. It's so nice, that directionality. And the way it doesn't completely go away, it still catches the top of the waves on the right hand side, but it's so much brighter on the left, and it just helps your eyes sort of move through the image too. It's really nice.
Thank you.
That is our time.
I want to say one more thing, if you don't mind. I like that I think that the tone of the water, it almost brings more of a mystery about what's below the boats, almost, to me.
Like that. I didn't consider that. I didn't think of it that way. I like that.
You can call it Loch Ness approaches.
Yeah, Photoshop a great white shark fin in there somewhere.
Yeah, when you post the final image, I want to see like just like a fin right here.
The Kraken popping out.
You can title it, "We're gonna need a bigger boat."
I just want a blurry Loch Ness monster because you can't take a clear photo. Completely out of focus, black shadow, all clipped.
All right. Well, hey, that was a good critique meeting. I enjoyed that very much.
Yeah, this one was a lot of fun.
There's a lot of great stories in here.
Yes, there
are. Great images. Yeah, I love it. I love the way people approach this. That's fantastic. New members. Kudos to you guys for even entering. It's
hooray for new members.
Yeah, we love new members.
And returning members.
Yep.
Here's the chess set.
What's that?
Is that
Pat?
The chess set.
That was me. What?
The chess set.
Chess set.
Oh, yeah.
That's cool. I like that. I'll watch the video. I'll see what everyone else provided. So
yeah, I mean, you can all post into the members only group if you want. I mean, there's members who aren't on the call tonight who maybe have critique for you as well. And for the new members, that members only group is a safe place, right? It's a completely private group. So if you want to get some pointers on anything, have a little critique done, feel free to post stuff there. It's not going to leave that group. And you see how constructive we are and how, you know, these critiques go. So hopefully it was beneficial for everybody. And yeah, I mean, that's all I got.
Great meeting.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Welcome
Really
back,
good to
everybody.
see everybody. Really
Welcome
good to
back.
see everybody.
Next up, Don Chick, October 12th.
Good
Gold
to
is
see
the
everyone.
best.
Great.
Good to
He's
see
the best.
everyone.
Night,
everybody.
Cheers, all.
Have a great night.
All right, good night, everyone.
Good night.
Can't find my mouse to hang up though.